Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. Dolo the Archangel Uriel, and Dolo here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now we're going to talk about the most passionate zodiac signs. Now, like I said, every zodiac has the intentions to be passionate, but at the same time, it's not about the passion itself. It's how you're doing this passion. And that's when it comes to separate what's going on. So every zodiac sign has the ability to be passionate, to have passion. But like I said, certain zodiac signs going to be gifted with more abundance of it than others based upon the planet that rules that sign. So that planet is going to give those signs certain gifts. And when we talk about the exaltation, it does the same thing, but with exaltation, you also can exhaust yourself with all that energy. So keep that in mind. So let's talk about it. We're talking about right now the most passionate signs. Now, the most passionate signs right here is Aries, Scorpio, and Capricorn. You see what I'm saying? This is the most passionate sign. Now, right here, knowing these is the most passionate signs, you like, okay, you can kind of peep that because you see the Mars connection. You see Mars rules Scorpio and Aries, and Mars actually is exalted in Capricorn. Real late degree, so I say like 28, 29 degrees Capricorn. So Aquarius share a lot of that energy also, but it plays out on the balance scale of Capricorn. So right now, just for the sake of not diving too deep into things, is ultimately going to play out in the exaltation of Capricorn. So, right here, when we talk about the most passionate signs, each of these signs carry out their passions in different ways. Now, let's start with Aries. Aries is cardinal fire, initiating and creating new ways of how to see and feel about the circumstances that it's in. So, when Mars gives Aries this passionate vibration, Aries are able to take willpower, desire, motivation, intentions, you know what I'm saying, goals, desires. I think I said that, but it's able to take these things and revolve it around creating new ways of seeing and feeling about things. So anytime an Aries have a new idea or a new expression or a new way of feeling about something, 9 times out of 10, they have the power and gift and the support of Mars. So the things that Aries may try to initiate as a new thought or a new way of seeing something, seeing these things, or a new way of feeling about these things, they have to add. They have that gift of adding passion with that. They have that gift of adding a desire. So a lot of times you look at an Earth sign and look at an Aries like, damn, what is wrong with you? You're not even desiring what you need to be desiring. But see, if an Aries is initiating, creating new ways of how to see and feel about things, that's dealing with the spirit. And if it's desire behind that, the things that they desire may not necessarily involve material things. They may just desire to be seen a certain way. They may just desire to initiate and create something new in this world. They may desire to see things the way they want to see it and not want to involve it in the way that everyone else see it. See, it's a different thing when you talk about right here and desire and passions. So a lot of times that gets filtered out through the human vessel as a person with energy, a person with spirit, a person that's what they call that, inspiring. You know what I'm saying? Inspirational. You know what I'm saying? Because you like, dang, this person got a lot of passion and desire, but for otherworldly type things. Now, a low vibrational Aries, depending on if they want to use their power or not, may utilize their passion and desire for things amongst Earth. But for a small speck, it's still going to revolve around spirit or fire. You see what I'm saying? It's still going to revolve around that kind of energy. So, when you are passionate in these areas of life, these are areas of life where passion works the best. Where Mars could be motivated and have desire. A lot of times on Earth, it's not fast enough for Mars. In Capricorn energy it is, but not Taurus or not so much of Virgo. It slows down a little bit, so it's like it has to accumulate a lot more, so it can't get what it desires. So a lot of times, once it gets what it desire, it get accumulated in a bunch of shit that it didn't really want in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about passion, passion has to revolve around an inner presence, and it gets to do that best in the signs that Mars rules. So right here, Cardinal Fire, initiating and creating new ways of how to see and how to feel about things. Mars get to put all his desire into doing that. Desire into seeing new limits. Desire into seeing new things. Desire into feeling new ways about things and creating new things. Passion, motivation, and that's where passion would shine the brightest. When a person is too passionately into material things, that can only last so long. When a person is too passionately involved into their way of communicating and analyzing, that's being too logical and being too much of a debate whore, or being too much of a you know what I'm saying, trying to get your point across or have an agenda. You know what I'm saying? When you could just have a passion for a viewpoint or a way of seeing things, that's what Mars likes to do. Now, I don't want to say second like it's in order, but they all passionate. Now, Scorpio is next of the most passionate signs. Scorpio, there's no Pacific order either. I don't want y'all to think that I know y'all Scorpios is. Oh, he said second. So what do you mean? We the second most passionate? Nah, it's just I'm talking about y'all second. You know what I'm saying? Now, Scorpio is fixed water, being fixated on its own way of dealing with the emotions and feelings. So Mars get to do that because it gets to have a small transformation right here. So what makes Scorpios passionate is they're passionately involved into their own way of feeling, their own way of dealing with the emotions. So this is what here in Aries and share. Because a lot of times it's not about what you desire. It's not about what you're passionately into. It's about what we're passionately into. It's about what we desire. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times we can utilize your desires for what we passionately are into. But see, it's always revolved around the self. So when passion comes out here, you see a person's willpower when it's dealing with the emotions and feelings. You sense a person's willpower. You sense a person, see, it won't be able to do that in cardinal water like Cancer. It falls. Mars falls in cardinal water in Cancer. It's because it's waves. So it'll be too volatile. Scorpio is like ice. It's not melted ice and go with the flow like Pisces. It's ice. So it gets to take a lot of heat. It gets to, because it's going to take time to transform. So as you seeing ice gradually melt to Mars being in Scorpio, Mars is looking at this like, okay, I get a chance to actually slowly come out of my cage and slowly dive into my desires, but just have just enough time to analyze it and manipulate the circumstance and situation of how I want to flow into it. AKA, you want to control how your ice is being melted. You want to control what cup is going into. You want to control what shape and form that of body of water is being melted into. You know what I'm saying? You want to be control of is being melted in as some acidic water, some water that's volatile, some sewer water, or some pure water, or some clean water. So it's like, this is why Scorpios may deal with control issues a lot of times, but they're not trying to control you. They're just trying to control themselves. A lot of times, though, you may play the role in their life where certain things you do take certain tolls on their life. And things that you do may give them a sense of uncontrol a little bit or vulnerability a little bit. So if you're close to them and if you're close to this Scorpio in their life, this is why sometimes you may sense that they're trying to control what you do from either externally or internal realm. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, this is their way of controlling themselves because they don't want to be in a situation that is chaotic, aka their ice is being melted into a cup that they don't want it to be melted in. You know what I'm saying? So they have to observe. They have to manipulate. Now, manipulate have a bad annotation around it, but manipulating is just manipulating your situation, manipulating your circumstances. You're not supposed to manipulate people and manipulate their circumstances for your own circumstances. That's when it becomes bad. But it's about manipulating your own circumstances. And Scorpios understand that the best. But if they don't know themselves, they slide into that area of manipulating others. Because if they grew up as a Scorpio manipulating their own circumstances so much, then naturally they just dive into that. Oh, I know what this person is about because this is what I would do if I was secretly trying to do that. So let me play on that on this person. You know what I'm saying? It's things like that. So gotta be careful, Scorpios. But this would make Scorpios one of the most passionate signs, because when desires, willpower, passion, and motivation can come through a fixed water, being fixated on its own emotions and feelings, then that means you can gradually do whatever you want and gradually do it the right way before someone else do it, because you actually analyze that scene before you went to war with it. You see what I'm saying? Because the ice gradually melted into a place that is, so if a piece of ice is in a cup it don't want to be in, if it's gradually melting, then it has the choice to knock over the cup or go into another place. AKA, a Scorpio would test something out, even if it's dangerous or not, or secretive or not, just to see if this the benefits or attributes it actually need to acquire. And if it ain't, it didn't dive that deep into it to be stuck in it. You see what I'm saying? See, Scorpios know about that grudges and grudges. You can hold on to a positive feeling. That positive feeling turns into an obsession. You can hold on to a negative feeling. That negative feeling turns into a grudge. So y'all gotta watch that. But that all that energy in general is what make y'all passionate, because you're able to take your own emotional feelings and your own emotional stance on things and able to will all that energy into your desires, your passion. So no one can even steer you off your goals. When you want to do something, you're going to do it, and you're going to look at the people who's trying to stop you or give you advice like something's wrong with them. Now let's get to Capricorn. Now Capricorn is Mars is exalted. So like I said, things you can get exhausted, Capricorns. Now, the way Capricorns carry out their passion is through Capricorn is cardinal earth, initiating and creating new ways of how to think and be practical, which ultimately is making sense of things. Oh, this about to come on, shit. Now, it's ultimately how you do. It's ultimately practical and what makes sense. So off the bat, Capricorns are steady trying to initiate and create new ways of how to think and make sense out of all practical natures that they are in front of. So reason why Mars loves being in Capricorn and is exalted, because they can take all its passions, willpowers, and desires and motivations and gear it towards gaining structure in their life in some type of way, gaining some type of status, gaining some type of way of being seen or being known. So off the bat, that's very good for people who's trying to reach for success, because they're going to be serious about their goals. They're going to be serious about their passions and their desires, and they're going to try to construct it into reality in some type of way, create some foundation. Now, reason how it can over exhaust what's actually going on is this right here. Is because Capricorns they can over exhaust themselves in their work. They can over exhaust themselves in trying to make sense out of shit. They can over exhaust themselves into reality and practicality to the point that things become all work and no play, because all that passion and desire and motivation is going towards gaining structure in your life, creating new ways of how to think, and be practical about things. But for the most part, this is what you can overexhaust yourself to the point that you actually wear out the body. You actually wear out the kneecaps. You Capricorns, you will wear out your fucking knees. Learn how to call off sometimes. You see what I'm saying? Learn how to call off. Learn how to not go to work sometimes. Learn how to sit down. Learn how to not look at your friends like employees. Learn how to not look at your family like liabilities. Learn how to not look at every piece of money you get as an insurance plan. Learn how to enjoy a little bit. Learn how to ease up a little bit, because you got all the passion, desire, and willpower in the world to rise to the top. And believe me, you will get there. But you need to understand when you dive too far in that, you'll overexhaust yourself, and it looks negative from outside looking in. I mean, you look money hungry, you look like a pig, you look greedy, you look like a devil, you look like someone who's trying to utilize everything that you got and have and try to benefit off and stand on it. Everybody look like a table to you, and you want to stand on each and every one of them. You said, fuck the chair, fuck sitting down. I want to get up and stand on the table, and let's create some more tables. Calm down. You got that energy. Just learn how to chill out. Because you can overexhaust yourself. But you got the power that Mars going to give you anyway. So, that's the most passionate signs. Flight boss, bitch.